you know, accept Islam, make a U-turn, and go straight. That's beauty. That's basically what dawah is in Islam. But my brothers and sisters, why am I talking about what we can't see? I would like to spend these next few moments with the help of Allah, with His permission, connecting a very, very basic and simple story in the Quran and in the Sirah to my reason for being in Houston, Texas. It was a decree of Allah. SubhanAllah, I was working full-time as the point man for a scholar who was a very dear friend of mine. You may have heard of him. His name is Imam Qasim. I was working full-time, crisscrossing the country, raising money for an organization that he started. And they were spending so much money on me, flying me all over the country, raising money. And then one day I visited Houston. I said, wow, this is a big city. I can get a lot of work done in Houston without getting on a plane. Within an 8 hours drive in Houston, you can almost save the country. So I told him, look, man, I was in Florida. I said, look, I need to move to Houston. I can get a lot more work done. You don't have to buy so many plane tickets. My only desire was to work harder. But when I came here, Allah had another plan. Allah knew that I would find a small group of Somalian refugee children that needed help for their weekend school. And then only Allah knew that I would try to find a place for their school. Only Allah could have possibly known. Out of all the mistakes I made in life, out of all the prayers I may have missed without a legitimate reason, out of all the backbiting that I may have been subject to and guilty of, out of all of the things that I've said and done and look with my eye, Allah preserved me because He knew that there was some good. Just like He preserved the Kaaba. When the Kaaba was contaminated with 360 idols, our history says. And Abraham and his jealousy sent an army to tear down the Kaaba because he wanted the pagans to go around his palace. And his army was led by a huge elephant, according to Ibn Kathir, named Hussein, to tear down the Kaaba completely so they wouldn't have a choice. But Allah knew the potential of the Kaaba. Allah knew that one day it would be sanctified and purified. Yes, tell the truth. Don't answer me now. This is Juma. As much as we love Islam, as much as we love Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had we been there and knew that Abraham was going to tear down the Kaaba, knowing that it was contaminated, we didn't say tear it down. It's useless anyway. It's contaminated. It's got idols in it. That's what we would have said. That's what I would have said. Tear it down. But Allah knew better because He knew that it was only contaminated temporarily, that one day it will be sanctified and purified. Yes, He preserved it. The neighborhood that I grew up in, outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, was corrupted with pork and alcohol, shirk, prostitution, drugs, you name it. Everything was there, all time, murder. It was contaminated. My father and myself was singing in churches, singing about shirk and exalting Isa alayhi salam as the Son of God. Allah could have destroyed us and that neighborhood because we were contaminated, like the Kaaba was contaminated. But Allah knew that one day we would be different. Allah knew. So one day a Muslim brother saw my father at work, gave him dawah. A little while later, my father accepted Islam. My father invited me and my brother to Islam. And since that, after 45 years or more, between the three of us, almost 4,000 people have taken Shahada. That was Allah's plan, not our plan. Because Allah did not destroy us when we could have been destroyed. He could have destroyed us like He destroyed Sodom. Sodom was hopeless. Look, say, man, you people doing a sin that never been. Y'all invented a new sin, homosexuality. What's that? Men with men? What's going on with you? You going after men when Allah created beautiful women for you? What's your problem? But He could have destroyed my hometown outside of Pittsburgh. He could have destroyed my father. He could have destroyed me and my brother. When I came to Houston, even though it has a reputation of being one of the richest cities in America, there are very poor pockets around Houston. You need to go and visit them. One of them is called the 5th Ward. In that area around the 5th Ward. It was so dangerous at one time, they called it the Bloody Nickel. Over 100 churches and no masjid until February 2013, when one of those churches that had just been recently built was closed down, and Allah made the arrangements, and He utilized your brother to buy that church, transform it into a masjid and a madrasa, and became a lighthouse for the community, promoting Islam exactly the way that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, with community service. Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not advance Islam with theology. He didn't teach theology of Islam until they accepted Islam. He gave community service. He fed the hungry people. He clothed the naked people. He was patient with the enemies. Muhammad the Prophet served the people with courtesy and politeness. The uswatun hasanah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the beautiful character. And the people were coming to Islam in droves, just like Allah promised him in the last surah that was revealed as a complete surah, Surah An-Nasr. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ. When the help of Allah comes and the victory. Those of us who are hafiz, the students of recitation, tafsir, we know it's against the rules of tafsir to breathe in the middle of that ayat. You have to complete the ayat before you even take a breath. You can't stop. You can't say, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ. You can't do that, because the help and the victory of Allah comes together. Yes, because when Allah helps you, you do not fail. Allah doesn't help you and you fail. That's impossible. That's not even like mathematics. That's like saying 1 and 1 is 3. It doesn't happen like that. When Allah helps you, you're successful. Especially if you fall under the criteria that Allah lists in Surah Al-Mu'minun. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The believers will be successful. Those that are loyal to their prayer and charity. Those that avoid lagwi, which is vain talk. And list the criteria. We're going to be successful in Allah's time. So my dear brothers and sisters, as we conclude, you may not have visited that area of Houston. These Muslims we have forced to come there to visit, and they admitted that they were afraid because they thought it was too dangerous. When I went to some of the Muslims from other countries, when I went down to Sugar Land when we first saw the property, and the Muslims from India and Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Egypt, I said, there's a place I can put a masjid. They asked me where it was. I said, no, you can't put a masjid there. It's too dangerous. No Muslims will want to live there. It's too corrupted. I said, what? Have you looked at me? Do you know that I came from a neighborhood just like that? And when I walked the streets of that neighborhood, and I looked into the eyes of the prostitutes and the drug dealers and the thugs and the murderers, and I see them eating pork, and having shirk, I see in their eyes me from yesterday. So certainly Allah can transform a world after 600 years of Jahiliyyah and bring Ubay ibn al-Khattab, Tariq bin Ziyad, Khalid bin Walid, and subhanAllah, Abu Sufyan, worst enemies to Islam. He brought them to Islam with a dua. And I wasn't nearly that bad. Allah brought me to Islam. And I look at the people, they don't have the problem we do. So we take the message of the Quran, the most powerful message, and I'm including in a minute. And we tell the prostitutes, look sister, you got it backwards. It's not how many clothes you take off that attract a good man, it's how many clothes you put on. Look, you thugs, you gangbangers that beating up, killing people. It's not how many men you can beat down with your fists that show your strength. It's how many you can stoop down and lift up with your arm with the message of Islam. That's what we're doing. And many of the people who used to pray there when it was a church, when we spent a few minutes telling them about how and proving how much we love Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam, many of them take off their cross, accept Islam, and some of them even change their names to Muhammad. After just a few moments, Islam dawah is so easy. Brothers and sisters, I represent the masjid. It was like a phoenix out of the ashes of a volcano dust. We're servicing the people. We're giving them hope. When they see us, they see hope. When we take hot meals and groceries to them in the truck that I have parked out there right now, the little children from the neighborhood walk out in the middle of the street and they recognize our truck and they said, Mommy, Mommy, they're here. The Muslims are here. We get to eat today. Did you understand what I said? We get to eat today because the Muslims are here. Yes. So, and then we go down the street to LBJ Hospital. And people are sitting in the emergency room 6, 7, 8, 24 hours waiting to be serviced for something small, whether they have insurance or not. So no, we're going to solve this problem. We took them hot meals to the emergency room. Then on the grounds of the masjid, we built a clinic, a free clinic to service those people. We tell them, we love you and we're going to prove it that we care about you. So come on, we'll get our volunteer Muslim doctors and nurses to look after you and get these simple things taken care of. We built a Muslim police station with an observation deck on the roof right on the same property, so our security looks through the neighborhood. No, you can come down and mess with us if you want to. Some of you terrorists and people with machine guns, you want to hurt us? No. You got some change coming, because we're going to protect this whole community, not just the Muslims. Come on and see what we're doing. Help us, my dear beloved brothers and sisters, inshallah ta'ala, to proceed with this work. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you, will guide you. May Allah help us to understand the beauty of our deen. May Allah bless us to accept the deen that we claim we have accepted. Kuli kali hada astaghfirullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum.